Hi everyone, I am Mufil. Welcome to my chat application project explanation video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the front end and back end technologies and libraries that I have used in this project and what are the features that I have added in my project and how I implemented that project. And also I will discuss about the deployment and how I optimized my application for better performance as well. Firstly, I will give you an overall idea about this project. After that, we can go little deeper into that. So basically, it is a simple group chat application where user can create their own account using their email ID and phone number. Once they logged into their own account, they can create groups and they can send messages in between those users, those who are available in that group. All right. So the technologies and libraries that I have used for the implementation, mainly HTML and the CSS framework is Bootstrap. All right. And the Node framework is Express.js. As a database, I used MySQL. The ORM that I used is SQLize. Alright, so once I completed my project, I deployed that project using AWS. The major services that I have used is EC2 instance and for the management of database RDS. For the deployment of image sharing, I used a S3 bucket as well. And I have mapped my domain using Route 53. All right, so the main features actually added as a user have their own profiles and they can create the groups, okay, as many groups they wanted, and admin have some privileges over normal users as well. And finally I implemented real-time messaging using socket.io. All right, so this is the my front end. It's kind of look like this. In the home page I have used three models for sign up, sign in and forgot password features. Since I'm using Bootstrap, I can make sure that the user no need to refresh the page for the sign up, sign in, and I can toggle in between the model as well. So the for the secure sign up, I used a library called a bcrypt so that I can make sure that the password is actually encrypted every time. And also I have added alerts for the successful sign up. If the password is incorrect, there will be a pop-up. There is alert as well. Okay, it is also implemented using Bootstrap, and I incorporated JWT. Once the user logged in, there will be a token will be created. It will be stored in the cookies so that I can authorize that user every time. So when it's come to the forgot password, I used a Sendinblue API. Okay, so I can securely share the reset link via mail. Okay, so once I share that mail, you can see over here, the user will get a mail kind of look like this reset password, and there will be a link over there, and I attached my mail ID to contact us. So once user click into that user ID, it will redirect it to reset password page. User can reset their password and it will be actually valid for 5 minutes, so that I made sure that it is secured, and also it is valid for one time only. Once it's open, it can be used next time. Okay, once they successfully logged in, they will redirect it to a new page. Over there in the left side, they can see all the groups they presented, and there is a one common group as well. Okay, in the common group, everyone can access that group and everyone can send the messages over there. All right, and additionally we can create their own group. They can give the group name and they can add the members they wanted. And there is a search bar is also present. Using that search bar, they can search the members. So once the group is created, they can share messages in between that group members only, and admin can remove or add the members, and even he can change the name as well. Okay, so when it comes to key features and optimization, majorly I have implemented multimedia capabilities using AWS S3 Bucket. So here user can send messages as well. All right, and I have used a socket.io. Majorly it will make sure that it will reduce the server load. It will only call when someone send the messages only in that certain groups. All right, and also once the message is shared, you can see over here, uh, it will show the name of the user, those who send that messages, and the timestamp as well. Okay, and also I am storing my messages in the local storage, the previous messages, so that the API code load will be lesser. So it is also improve the performance of this application. And also once in a 10 day, using a cron job, I'm actually achieved message and storing in a separate table, so that it is also make sure that app is actually performing in a better way. When it's come to the deployment, I deployed my project using AWS. The major services that I have used is EC2 instance and RDS. I purchased my domain from GoDaddy and used a Route 53 service from AWS for the mapping of my domain into the EC2 instance. And Nginx is employed to optimize my server performance and enhance the security through the reverse proxy settings and HTTPS requests. Okay, so I implemented CI/CD pipelines using Jenkins service. The SCM, source code manager change is a poll trigger. So whenever there is any change happening in my source code, that poll trigger get activated using a cron job. It will automatically get updated in my website as well. So this is my live project. You can see I served on my domain muflrahman.com. I have added few models over here, just like I mentioned earlier. For the sign up, sign in, I can toggle in between that. There is a forgot password model as well. Okay, so user no need to switch between the pages. There is no refreshing happening over here even if I switch to from one model to another. Okay, so that's the main advantages of implementing models over here. So let me create a account. So I'm creating a test user, giving test@gmail.com. I can give a random phone number. I created a password as well. Okay, I already given a mail ID or phone number similar, that's why it is showing the user is already exists. So let me give test1 and let me change the phone number as well. 98. Yeah, so here I'm using a div for to show the notification as well. So user is successfully signed in. So you can see there is a common group, it is always visible. So there are few users already signed in earlier, they have sent some messages in the common group, it is available over here. All right, so if I switch between this text and images, you can see I can send messages over here. If I want to send, let me send some text messages first. Hi guys, I am test user. So you can see the time and the name is attached over here along with the messages. If I want to send some images, I can toggle that switch and I can select the image and I can send. When I send the image, it will directly go to my backend, that form data. From there, that data will be saved into my Amazon S3 bucket and the URL will be saved into my database and it is showing over here. So once you click and inspect, you can see that URL is getting from that Amazon, right? So you can see that chat application S3 bucket, AP South, the name, you can see everything over here. All right. So this is how I implemented my image sharing facility. Once I go to that group, you can see I can create a group over here. There are, it is showing all the users logged into their own account, created their account. I can give a name for the group. So test group. All right, so here test group, if I want I can search a person. So if I want person with name P, so you can see Pratvin and Ajay. So Ajay Parameshwar, so that P is present, so that's why it is showing. And if I type Ajay entirely, Ajay, it is showing Ajay only. Okay, so I can select Ajay and I can select Mufil. I want Ashik as well and I want Azim as well. Okay, so I'm just creating this group. So group is successfully created. So you can see that test group is come over here. If I click test group, the test group will pop up in the right side. You can see all the 5 members. Okay, you can see over here there are 5 members here, and since this test user is the admin, there is an admin button as well. For the common group, if you check, there is no button at all. Okay, but when it comes to test group, you can see there is a button over here. Once you click on that button, actually if I don't want Ajay over here, so let me remove that Ajay. So if I update the details, when I click on the test group, you can see there are only 4 members present over here right now at this moment. All right, so this is how it work. When I come to inspect element, when I logged in, if you go to local storage, you can see all the messages in my common group is actually presented over here in the chat history. Okay, all the messages, hi, everything, all the data. So what's happening whenever any messages sent into the common group? So let me send some messages as well. So here in my network, okay, so let me send a message, hello. You can see actually it is sending a message ID along with this API call. Okay, so for the response, you can see right now it is not sending any messages, because right now every message is actually saved inside that local storage. So there is no need of getting messages from my backend. Okay, so the API should be, so whenever I have 1,000 messages, what will happen, it will check what is the last message ID I have in the local storage and it will send that ID into my backend. So it will only return with the messages that after that certain ID. Okay, so right now it is blank, but if I send something else, uh, there are few messages. Okay, so you can see there is a only messages actually returned to here. Okay, with message ID 10. Okay, with the message hi boys. Okay, all other data is actually available in the local storage. When I go to my local storage, you can see all other messages were saved in my local storage. Okay, so it will improve my application performance. Okay, and one major thing I have implemented after that is okay, let me go to my network again. So you can see there is a socket IO is also already implemented. Okay, we will go through that anyway. Okay, so the socket IO is already activated. So what's the advantage of this? Whenever someone send messages, all the users will get refreshed automatically. Okay, there is no need of refreshment. It will implemented using WebSocket IO. Okay, and one more security features I want to discuss is authentication using JWT token. So when you go to your application and when you go to that cookies, you can see the token is actually saved in cookies. Okay, so whenever any request is happening, okay, from his this main page, whenever any request happening, it will attach with that token. Okay, so let me try one request. So when I click the common group, some request is happened. Okay, there is a get user request is happened. So when I check that headers, you can see I'm actually in the cookies I am passing this data, this token. Okay, it will go to my backend and it will uh, authenticate first, then only I will get the data. For that I will show you how this works. When I removed my data, so let me remove my token from here and let me refresh my page. You can see it will get logged out. Okay, so it will get automatically logged out. Okay, so I need to re-sign in again. So this time let me sign in with my account. Okay, password is not correct. Okay, so password is correct at this moment. So you can see this is my account. I have a few groups I'm present. So this family's group is not my account. Okay, so I don't have any edit button over here. If I create my own group, so let me create my own group, Muffils group. Okay, so I can search anyway, but I want these 4 people in my group. And if I created my account, when I click on Muffils group, you can see there is a edit button present over here. Okay, so when it comes to socket IO, uh, let me open that admin account, socket IO admin account. For that you can use socket IO admin. Okay, so when I open this, I can give my URL. It will get connected. Okay, so when I go to that socket, you can see there are sockets available. So if I logged in into another account as well, so when I go to the clients, there are 2 clients. One is my this account. Okay, another is admin account. When I click here, you can see here, you can see this namespace is /admin. Okay, so this is a socket IO implementation implemented over here itself. So for this admin account, that's the one client, and another client is my this account. Okay, if I create, let me create another account as well for you. If I open another account over here, so let me do that. Mm, we can use that test user account, test at gmail.com, right? Okay, so once I signed in over here, so let me go to my socket IO admin account. So here you can see when you click again that sockets is actually 2 sockets present for my this account and for another account. When go to clients, you can see there are 3 clients for the one admin for 2 accounts as well. Okay, so whenever any messages end, so let me send some messages in common group. Hi test user. I'm not going to refresh that account. Okay, so even though when I move to that account, so let me move to that account. So here you can see when, yeah, it is automatically come up over here, right? So when I do the same here as well, so let me send message, hi Mufil Rahman. The same thing will happen for my other account as well. So let me go to my project. You can see I haven't refreshed my account yet, but still I'm getting this message. So this is how we use that socket IO to make our website or my chat application real time. Here I want to show the forgot password facility as well. So if I click on that forgot password, it will open up a model. I can give my email ID that I used to create that account. Let me give an incorrect mail ID. Okay, so what will happen if I give an incorrect email ID? It will show that user is not does not exist. So if I give the correct mail ID, it will send a mail and it will mention that it will only valid for 5 minutes. So I can go to my mail. So let me do that. So I will receive a mail like this. All right. So when I click on this reset password button, I will redirect it to my website again, chat application, where I can reset my password. So let me reset my password. If I give both the passwords same, let me do a different. If I give different, it will show that the password should be same. So let me make both passwords same. I will get a message the password is all successfully resetted, and it will redirected to my main page so I can sign in with my new password. The one feature I have added, when I try to open the same link again, it will show that the link has been expired. Okay, so that's how I can make sure that it is used only once. So the next thing I want to discuss is Jenkins. Okay, how I implemented CI/CD pipelines using Jenkins. So for that, let me open my Jenkins admin UI. So here you can see this is my public IP address, and on the port 8080 I can access my Jenkins account. Okay, so I already logged in that one. Okay, so you can see I have a project chat application. Okay, so when I open this, I can configure that everything. So I already created a video regarding this as well. So when I go to the configuration, the source code is actually GitHub. From GitHub, actually, I created this one. I attached my credential as well. And the main thing I want to talk about that here, using a policy, I can schedule when this need to be activated. Okay, so when if I give that cron job, it's okay. When I give h star, okay, I need to add the space. This is for 1 hour. Okay, so it will check after 1 hour, every hour there is any change in the source code or not, and once there is any change in my source code, then this code will get activated. Okay, well, it will check whether any uh, project is running or not, whether that chat application running or not in the port number 3000. If there is running, it will stop that, it will delete that project, and after that it will install all the dependencies that I have added to my GitHub, then it will restart that project. So I don't want to do anything other than changing my code in my Git repository. All right, so this is how I implemented Jenkins. So the source code manager, that Polasium is actually based on the source code management. Okay, so these are the main thing I have done. And finally, I have used certbot in order to download the SSL certificate for making this as a secured connection. So right now you can see over here, it is a secured connection. If I checked in the Jenkins, you can see it is not secured because it is happening on the HTTP request. So if I paste it over here, you can see it is HTTP request, but my application is running on HTTPS request. So I made this using certbot as well. So here is my source code. I don't want to get into each and every code. I will show you an overall idea about my source code. So this is my folder structure: MVC, model, views, and controller. All the HTML files were present in views, and public is a static folder. Okay. And when it comes to the app.js file, you can see I have, apart from all other things, I have few services. One is WebSocket service. I implemented WebSocket IO over here, and a cron job using cron job service. Okay, so and also I have managed my course over here. Okay, I'm allowing my admin socket IO here, origin, in order to access that admin socket IO. All right, and the connection which I have made over here, okay, the WebSocket service, this is the WebSocket IO connection I have made it over here. For accessing my admin panel, I have implemented the authentication I have given. Right now it is a false. Okay, if you give that authentication password and username, you can use that password and username for login into admin account as well. All right, so when I go to the services, you can see there is a AWS service. So here I created a function called upload to S3. So using this function, I am creating a public URL to access that images that shared on the chat application. All right, so when I use this upload to S3 function, I will share that image and the file name which I wanted, and it will create a public URL and it will return that public URL, and it will saved over my database. All right, so when it's come to the cron, what it is doing, it is actually achieving all the datas. All right, so here, in order to make sure it is actually performing well. I have a few promises present over here. It is not related to each other, so that's why I'm using promise all, so that I can reduce the time. Okay, so this is one way to achieve that better performances. Okay, so here I'm getting all the data which is 10 days ago, and I am actually adding this into another table. So I can increase, basically I can increase the performance. All right, so when it comes to WebSocket IO, I have a few connections over here. All right, so I managed everything over here. I'm actually exporting from here, then it will get into my app.js, and I am using over here. All right, so these are the main things I want to share about my source code. So I believe I covered most of the important topics about this chat application project. If you still have any query, you can reach out to me. So thank you so much. See you in the next video.